fuck. Hey everybody, what is up? It is Robbie. Just out here chilling with my fucking lean body secrets, some iced coffee, you know, normal daily shit. But I figured I'd make y'all a video. And the reason I'm making this video is because y'all asked me a lot of questions about this subject. And I feel like if I made a video on it, it would be much easier than just having everybody ask me a lot of questions is what normally happens, because a lot of people don't know and they just need info. So I figured I'd make this video for people to look at once before they ask me questions, which is the inevitable. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about the 3 things to look for when you buy a used Speed 3. Now obviously there are plenty of things, but I'm just going to run down the things that happen the most to the Speed 3 that cause them to break. So, or make them duds. But anyway, let's kind of kick it off. So, number 1. This is probably the most important for higher mileage cars, but you for sure want to check variable valve timing. Now why would you check variable valve timing? Well, if you didn't know, at around 60,000 miles or so, I could be wrong there, but around 60,000 miles, if you don't have variable valve timing noise, which is basically what happens is there's a chain in here that goes around these actuators, and when the actuators get old or break, they release some of the slack on the chain that will then cause the chain to smack the top of the, whatever the fuck this is, head, or I don't know what you want to call it, or cover, whatever, but it'll hit it and it'll cause wear and then it'll eventually break. Now, this is like $1,000 fix because it's $500 for the parts, and then in order to actually get to the VVT setup, I honestly think you have to raise the motor because it's right underneath here, and like that's kind of a fucking mess down there. So they probably have to jack up the motor, but it's about $1,000 fix is what a lot of people on the forums say. But let's say you're looking at a Speed 3, you don't know if it's done, you don't really hear a noise. Well, here's the thing. If you own a pre-2012, so 2011 all the way to 2007, you can check yourself. So what you do is you warm up the car, then you turn it off, obviously. You're going to pop the oil cap. Let me see. You can't see it on these because this is a 2012, and they have a little, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little plate in there. But behind that plate is the actual chain itself. So on the 2011 and back models, you can see the chain. So you warm it up and you go in there and you tug on the chain. Well, if the chain is like squishy and moving, it means that the variable valve timing is probably about to go out. If it doesn't move, it means that you don't have an issue, so I wouldn't worry about that. Oh, damn it. Fuck. So basically, this is a way you can test yourself. You're basically just pulling on the chain. If the chain is loose, then it means you have a problem. If it's not, then you're Gucci. But that is something to look out for, and it is pretty common. So that's why I was letting y'all know that. But anyway, first thing, VVT. You want to make sure it's either intact or, you know, you just want to make sure. If it needs to be replaced, it needs to be replaced. You can probably talk down the seller a lot as well. All right, number 2. Now, this is another common problem, and that is the turbo seals. So these cars have always had problems with the turbo. More specifically, the turbo seals. So basically what happens is oil breaks the seals and then enters into the turbo, which causes a white smoke out the exhaust. And it basically ruins the turbo. It busts the turbo. You have to get a replacement once it finally, I don't know, breaks, I guess. But you can check this as well. So what you do is you start the car. If it's cold start, you let it warm up, and then you'll come to the back, all the way to the back, and you'll look at this exhaust thing. What do you want to call it? This piece of the tailpipe, basically. If a thick cloud of white smoke comes out, then your turbo's fucked. If it's a little bit of smoke, you know, but it's still on a warm day, you know, it's not like it's cold and it's smoking. If there's a little bit of white smoke, that's not that bad. There are preventative measures, but still, it does mean that oil is getting into the turbo, and at some point you are going to have to replace it. But you can do like a banjo bolt and a thicker oil to kind of hold you through if you really can't afford the replacement at the time. But again, that is something to watch out for. It is really, really, really common. If the car has like a downpipe or an open exhaust, you're going to see the smoke more. If it's stock, you probably won't be able to tell that much because it has to filter through the cats and all that kind of stuff. So you probably won't see the smoke out the back. So I guess if it's a stock car, it's kind of hard to tell, but most of the time stock units don't have an issue if the rest of the car is stock. But it is something to watch out for. So if it's smoking, it's bad. If it's not, it's good. So something to watch out for. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. Number 3. So this is a big deal if you buy them. Oh my God. Oh my God. If you buy a modded car, Jesus. So I've seen this happen a lot at dealerships where people will go and buy Speed 3s or Speed 6s and they'll notice it has a bunch of mods on it. But the most important mod that they're not checking for is this puppy right here. And if you don't know what that is your high pressure fuel pump housing. More specifically, they don't look for the high pressure fuel pump itself. And why is that bad? Well, these units, the units that are stock on the car, have been known to lean out and explode, or lean out and break your engine because it can't match the output with the amount of airflow that's coming in. So it basically causes your car to lean out and then your engine kind of blows. Zoom, zoom, boom, as they say. So if you're buying a used car, whether it is from somebody on Craigslist or at a dealership, you want to know if that is done. If it's a stock car, not so much. It shouldn't need a replacement fuel pump if it's a stock car. If it has mods on it, you want to 100% make sure that there's a fuel pump in there, or there's an upgraded fuel pump in there. Because if not, you're basically sitting on a time bomb. You could punch it one day and be fine. You could punch it another and the whole thing just explodes and you're out of car. So it's just something to look out for. It's more of an issue I see with people buying cars from the dealerships because the dealership doesn't really know what's done to it. If you're buying it from a private seller, at least they should at least know what they've done to the car. So that you should just ask and they'll be like, oh yeah, I've done it, or no, not yet, but I have the part, something like that. But that's basically it, guys. Those are the 3 things. So first was VVT. You can pull on the chain, you can check. Second one was turbo, make sure it's not smoking. Third was high pressure fuel pump if the car is modded. So that's basically the main issues that I see with these cars. And main issues I mean is like running wise. Like if the radio doesn't work, that may be an issue, but like if the engine doesn't run, that's a bigger issue. So that's kind of what I was hinting on today. And those are the main things that'll either break your engine or handicap your engine. So there you guys go. I appreciate all the likes, appreciate all the comments. Let me know if you have any more questions. I mean, I'm an open book. Yeah. All right, guys. Let me just